We are honoring the life and the legacy of Representative John Lewis, the civil rights leader and longtime U.S. Congressman who died Friday at the age of 80 after a 6-month battle with pancreatic cancer. Lewis was a towering figure in the civil rights movement, dedicating his entire life to fighting for equality and causing what he called good trouble. Nick Sturdivant is live outside the state capitol this morning, where flags are at half-staff. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Christy. And here in Atlanta, flags will fly half-staff indefinitely, and this entire weekend has been spent remembering the legacy of Congressman John Lewis. There have been visuals, there have been people that have gathered outside of the giant mural off of Auburn Avenue here in Atlanta. And last night, a guiding hand in Lewis's campaign in office called for his successor to step down when appointed so that the new 5th District Representative can be elected. Theron Johnson, who is the founder and CEO of Paramount Consulting, issued a statement late Sunday suggesting that the world must never forget the meaning of Lewis's life work. Based on the current system now, the Georgia Democrats will be asked to pick a candidate to replace Lewis on the November ballot. That's according to the Chief of State to the Georgia Secretary of State. And Johnson suggested putting his seat to a vote would be the fitting way to remember Lewis's legacy. Christy?
Oh, it certainly would be. He considered the right to vote very sacred.